Welcome to the Back Nine Six Pack with Mitch and Justin. Let's roll.
Hello and welcome to episode 16 of the Back Nine Six Pack. My name is Mitch, joined as always by my esteemed colleague Justin. Does the number 259 mean anything to you?
259? No. No, am I supposed to know?
That is the number of days until Masters Monday.
Oh, thank God. Yeah. We need another major after the ones we just had. We'll go into that a little bit, but kind of boring ones this year. Not the winners. I mean, I'm okay with the winners, but just how they were done. It's just not a lot of drama. So
yeah, we can get into that. I just wanted to take a minute and realize we have so long until April.
Yeah, jeez. But this is a vacation episode. First one. I think this is the first one that one of us has been out of town, not able to make it in. I'm officially in vacation mode. I think I got into it Saturday once I crossed into Alabama. So
how's that different than the last 2 weeks that you've been at home alone?
There's a difference between home alone Justin and vacation Justin, and slight differences.
Sure.
Slight, very slight. So
yeah, I get it. Yeah, well, speaking of your travels, I mean, first and foremost, we're going to apologize in advance just in case. We're on the AirPods, we're on the Wi-Fi. The sound quality probably not our usual, but we're gonna get through this one. So
yep.
You're on family vacation. You made a pretty cool stop at what looked like just a fantastic place. Do you just want to run us through?
Yeah. So my family met me here. They were flying in on Sunday. Obviously, Saturday, I kind of had to kill. I didn't want to leave like on Sunday and then cut it close to getting down here for the flight. So I was like, I'll leave Saturday. I'll go play golf. I heard a couple courses floated around. A place called Capitol Hill in Montgomery. A couple other places, and I had like a handful of people like, you have to make it to this course. Like, it's off the beaten track, but it's in the general direction of what you're heading. So I'm like, all right. So I look it up and I'm like, okay, I think this is where I'm going to play. Like, it's about 45 minutes off my path, but I was like, I think this is where we're going to play. Best decision I've ever made. No offense to those other courses. Farm Links at Purcell Farms was just, from the moment you pull into the driveway, it's elite, right? Like the entrance, you're going through these country roads, your tree lines, you got cattle out there, which obviously, and it kind of explains the logo. If you've seen our video from my trip there, super cool logo. One top 5 for me logos that I've, at least courses that I've played. But Farm Links was, I mean, it was pristine. Like the grass, everything was plush. The bunkering was just ridiculous. Like, it had a lot of Augusta in it as far as the bunkering goes. A lot of deep bunkers. Par threes were just off the charts. 5 was supposed to be their signature hole. I honestly was like my third favorite par 3 on that entire course. That's how good the par threes were. I think I highlighted 17. 17 was incredible. Looked a lot like, if you know the hole from the par 3 contest at Augusta, had the same number 9 on the par 3 contest. Almost the same shape green, obviously bigger because you're hitting it from 197 yards or whatever it is. But just the little touches, the chilled apples, and the people on staff are awesome. I played as a single. And then the whole facility, like I said, there was clay shooting. I didn't even know this when I made that video. They have like a concert hall on property. They've got houses. These houses probably house up to 24 people if you took a golf trip down there. But the course itself was fantastic. And then we didn't find out until after I made the video that the course was built for essentially a marketing piece, right? Like, it's for this fertilizer company. The Purcell family owned a fertilizer company. They created a polymer which made fertilizer last longer after rain. And they felt the best way to showcase that was to build a golf course, which is just absolutely insane, but also really, really cool at the same time. Um, and apparently, everybody from people at Augusta, Pebble Beach, everybody, any major course that has what we believe top-notch turf has been to Purcell Farms. So it was such a cool experience. Driving back from there to Montgomery was interesting. Felt like I was in a scene of Jeepers Creepers. It was at like 9 o'clock at night. It was dark. The roads had no lane lines on them. And I was just praying to God that I didn't get a flat tire or anything like that. Because it is. I mean, this place is out in the middle of absolutely nowhere, which makes it all the better, right? Like and they have room. I mean, they could have built 14 other 18-hole courses on that freaking property and probably still had room for hunting and fly fishing and all the stuff they have. So great. Best decision I ever made was to stop there. So appreciate the people over there that I got to talk to. They were super nice people. And yeah, I want to go back. And I just don't know when it's going to happen, but I'm definitely going to go back. So.
Yeah, I have no idea how I'm ever going to find time to get to Alabama, but that place could definitely draw me there, I think.
Sylacauga, Alabama. No, you don't know.
Yeah, Sylacauga. I couldn't even think of the name of the place. Yeah, but your drive home, it looked like some Hills Have Eyes shit you were doing.
I'm telling you, it was like, I'm just sitting here. I'm like, I need this. I sent you guys a video. I'm like, I want this video just in case like I die, exactly like, oh, he was driving through the woods. It all kind of makes sense now. You know what I mean? So it was. But then I got down to Montgomery, stayed in my Airbnb. Super nice people. Stayed with an ex-professional tennis athlete, which was really cool. She was really nice. Her husband was super nice too. Really cool people. Probably kept them up all night because I was snoring because I'd literally been up for like 19 hours at that point. But it's been a great trip so far. Now I'm in Destin. Played golf today. Got 2 more rounds the rest of the week. Course today was good. A lot of good views. They've had some weird weather down here with some rain, more rain than they're used to. So the greens were a little slower. Couldn't really cut them, but we're, like I said, we're in full vacation mode right now. So
yeah.
Speaking of vacation,
I remain jealous. Thank you for doing that. I didn't grab anything on my way down. We're in hydration mode. To quote our boy Dan Francis, I got into some of that Kentucky brown water Saturday, and I don't even know how much. I've got like 10 Old Weller Antique store picks up in my bourbon collection. I might have tried all 10 Saturday.
Oh my God! And that's a 2-day, and that's a 2-day or two. It's a 2-day coming back from that.
So we got the 2015 Masters Cup. Full of some water here.
Low key flex there.
I know. That's why I got the flags in the poster too. Anyway.
All right, let's jump into enough about my adventures.
Yeah, this is going to be a heavy pro golf episode just by the nature of the time of year it is.
Yep.
Brian Harman won the Open Championship at Royal Liverpool by 6 shots. General feelings.
The Herminator. Oh, that's what they were called. He had like 6 or 7 nicknames, apparently, from what I learned from the radio broadcast that I was listening to on the way down. I mean, the dude's a killer. Like, low key. Like, he's like, it's like if your accountant was James Bond. You know what I mean? Like, looks pretty innocent, and then it's like, he's out there just slaying the biggest names, and he had all the biggest names hunting them down, and man, he did not flinch. So it was really cool to see. Boring from a entertainment standpoint, but from a like watching a guy go out and just prove everybody wrong because everybody kept saying that he was going to fall apart. I mean, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was just one of those where it felt like, even on the broadcast, it almost seemed like they were trying not to root against him, but they also wanted him to make some bogeys. And then eventually they got to a point of acceptance, and it was, you got Zinger out there talking about how he's a real American, eating apple pie and hot dogs, and drop him in the middle of the woods with a pocket knife and he'd be all right. Just like,
When I got the chance on Saturday to listen to a little bit of the TV broadcast because I was on one highway for a really long time, so I kind of turned the radio down, put the broadcast, and I turned it on right for that line, and I was just like, I didn't know where he was. I had no idea where he was going with it. I'm like, I feel like it's going in a place where he's going to get canceled. Like, and then all of a sudden he's just like, you go back a month later, he'd be just fine if you dropped him in the woods. I'm like, I see what he was doing there, but that was one of the funnier moments of the weekend, to be honest with you, because the golf was kind of less entertaining, not as entertaining for sure.
freaking NBC, man. I thought we were done with Nick Faldo, and Jesus Christ, they just bring him back like Lazarus from the fly fishing in Montana. Apparently, just put him in the booth. Thank God for Mike Tirico.
Oh
just
yeah,
the only saving grace.
And that was part of being with it being boring, and Brian Harman just kind of dominating everybody. It was like it just gave Zinger like just too much airtime to make a mistake. Especially with just watching one guy, because they showed the bulk of his shots. Like it just gave him too much runway, just way too much runway. So
yeah.
What did you think?
Mean,
what did you think? I mean, look, I'm not going to sit here and kid with you that I was the biggest Brian Harman fan in the world before this, but he's got a pretty decorated amateur career, right? Pretty big name when he got in, became a professional. So,
yeah, I mean, I spent, I guess, the first 3 days just trying to convince, reaching acceptance, right?
Yeah.
I didn't want Brian Harman. No offense to Brian Harman.
Yeah.
I had tons of guys up on the leaderboard I wanted. Rory McIlroy, Tommy Fleetwood. Spieth was kind of in and out for a little bit. I mean, Rahm had that amazing run on Saturday. And it just eventually felt inevitable that, after he survived the early birdies on Saturday, or bogeys on Saturday, and then same on Sunday, yeah, it was pretty much all she wrote. I think the only chance we had when he bogeyed 13 and was going to 14, which was playing as the hardest hole in the course, where I was like, okay, we got some holes here. He could make an error. And then he freaking birdies 14, just the ultimate stones. He was a killer for the weekend. He truly was.
Yeah, and I thought it was cool when he did his interview afterwards, and he was talking about, that on Saturday someone said, "You don't have the stones to do this, Harman." And he's just like, you know what? I'm about to prove this. If it's only this guy that I'm here to prove wrong, I'm going to do it, and he did. It was. I can't remember what I sent in our text group. It was pretty big. We were talking about something, and then I was like, speaking of this, Harman just out here just throwing daggers left and right. So,
yeah. All right, so I'm going to ask you a couple questions here. I don't know if this includes the Open Championship win, but how much money do you think Brian Harman has made on the golf course in his career?
Man, he's been on tour since
for a while. 2012. 2012 was his
I'm going to
first year
say over 15 million.
Might need to double that. 32 million.
Holy crap! Really?
He's played in 340 events and won 3 times.
I would have never guessed that. I was thinking the 15 to 20 range, right? Like that. I mean, that's a pretty good career. I mean, the guy's never going to have to work again, right? Once you hit that 5 year,
exactly.
You hit that 5 year point, you're fully vested in tour. Really, at that point, it doesn't even matter if you've won 7 million. You probably don't ever have to work again. So that's crazy. I never would have guessed that.
Do you know what his 3 wins are?
Did he win in Canada one time? I feel like that. I feel like he won in Canada. No. Go ahead. Then I don't know. Other than this one, I don't know.
All right. He won the 2014 John Deere Classic.
It seems like a tournament that he would probably win.
This one surprised me. I had forgotten this, but he won the 2017 Wells Fargo, and I think that might have been at a different course.
Yeah, I don't think that. There's no way. Quail Hollow, I don't know if sets up. I could be wrong, but
yeah. I could be wrong too. But anyway, so that and then this Open Championship. And I spent some time just kind of thinking comps, career comp wise, right? It wasn't, a lot of people had described it as I think they made it seem like he came out of nowhere, right? Like it was it's not a Ben Curtis, it's not a Todd Hamilton. Like
Yeah,
he
those
was
guys came
ranked
out of
20.
nowhere. I mean, for the most part, you know.
Yeah, he was 26th in the world, which first time I heard this was during the broadcast. I had no idea he was
If
that high
again,
up.
if you would have asked me, I'd have been like, well, I know he plays in all the elevated events, so I'm like 50th, 40, maybe barely in the top 50. That's what I would have guessed.
Right. So I was starting to think of some comps, some recent major winners that might be of similar status. So maybe I'll test you just to play a little game. All right. This guy has won major championship, 6 tour wins. He played in 407 events so far in his career.
Yeah.
He's won 28 million in his career.
No idea.
Jimmy Walker.
No way.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Jimmy Walker
Jimmy Walker's
was,
he's won that much?
I mean, 6. That's not that bad, but he's won that much money. Yeah. Yeah. So he won 3 times in one season in 2014, twice in 2015, and then he won his PGA Championship in 2016. But he was ranked 48th in the world at the time, but he had gotten all the way up inside the top 10 at one point.
Wow. Yeah,
So he
I
was
guess.
the year he won the major, he went into the year, I think he was like 25th in the world. So I think kind of a similar level to a Brian Harman. And then I got one more for you here.
That's a pretty good one,
Let me
though.
get to this.
Yeah, and wasn't Jimmy Walker's last win his major?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I remember them saying that when they were talking about Wyndham and stuff like that when he won the U.S. Open, that had gotten brought up, and Jimmy Walker was like, I don't know, kind of almost like a comp, right, to Wyndham Clark a little bit, but they were like, yeah, Jimmy Walker's last win was his major, so kind of crazy.
Yeah. So the other thing about this too is like I think there were some comps to the Wyndham Clark just in terms of like the kind of player or whatever. Wyndham Clark seems like an ascending player to me, right? Like he's definitely taken a step
he's
forward in his
young,
game.
or yeah, I guess, yeah.
So I feel like, these guys are a little more close. So I got one more for you. This guy has played in 338 events, 4 wins on tour, and he has made almost, let's see, he's made 33 million.
You said
He's got the one major.
4 wins, right? With one major.
Four wins, one major.
I'm gonna say, I was gonna say Bill Haas, but Bill Haas doesn't have a major. This is a trick question. I'm gonna go with Justin Thomas.
No, because JT has 2.
Oh, that's right. He does that.
And he's got a lot more PGA Tour wins too.
Doesn't he? I thought he only has like 6 or 7.
JT's got to be double digits by now.
No, maybe. Yeah. I just thought you were trying to trick me into being a bigger name. Jimmy Walker,
No.
obviously small name, whatever, but give it to me.
Gary Woodland.
Wow. See, I should have known that because it was so recent.
He was 25th in the world at the time of his major championship as well. So,
wow. See, I would have never guessed that. I would have guessed he was probably outside the top 50 when he won his U.S. Open.
Yeah. I think Brian Harman and Gary Woodland might end up with the same 4 wins, 1 major.
I could easily
similar
see that.
amounts of money won. Yeah.
Honestly, I hope not. I mean, you kind of find more out about Brian Harman. Like, he's a cool guy, Apparently, I heard this on No Laying Up. They did the Saturday recap show, and apparently, when people found out he was like a big hunter, like they were like, apparently it's frowned upon over there. They don't like hunters, so he was catching some flack for that. So, but I think he's a cool. I hope he wins more. I mean, but he just kind of seems like the guy that just makes a bunch of cuts. Maybe he has a bunch of top 10s, maybe top 25s. Keeps his card. He might have that one tournament where he kind of goes off. It's a good setup, like the John Deere or whatever. I hope you're wrong, but yeah, I know it could end up that way though because he's not young. He's definitely not young.
Yeah, 36. So I mean that. Plus, you never know when a guy like him wins a major. Like it could be real easy just to kind of pack it in from here.
Lick the stamp and just mail it in.
Yeah.
Just mail it in.
But I mean, his game seems so sustainable. He's probably going to be out there till the Champions Tour, if I had to guess.
I was gonna say, the way he doesn't rely on power, he kind of relies on putting and good iron play. I mean, that's if you're trying to play into you get to the Champions Tour and have full status through to the Champions Tour. I mean, that's a pretty sustainable way to do it. So
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the
well,
losers.
Let's talk about it. So you mean from this tournament?
Yes, they are some of the losers.
Okay.
But they're all losers,
all right.
technically.
That's right. Second place, just the first loser. Speaking of that, John Rahm T2. That Saturday at 63, first and foremost, I picked him not to win, so I was terrified at this point.
Honestly, I thought when he shot 63 on Saturday, I was like, he's going to freaking win this just to rain on your parade.
It was absurd. I mean, Brian Harman just didn't give enough back for him to really make a move, and didn't make enough putts on Sunday. But
think about how boring. Think about how boring Sunday would have been if he didn't shoot that 63. I mean, because he kind of got everybody. It's like, okay, he did that on Saturday. Like, if he does this again tomorrow, like, he's gonna have a fighting chance. Like, he goes out and shoots 64, 65 again tomorrow. Like, could get really interesting, and just
that's kind of
wasn't meant to be.
I was gonna say it's kind of what sucked about the conditions being what they were, especially as it got later in that round. Is like there just wasn't going to be a real opportunity for anybody, or for Harman to really make a big mistake. The greens were receptive.
Yeah,
just keep everything in front of him, and he was easily able to coast. I think the low round on the day, there's a few guys that shot 67, so like it was only 4 under. He would have had to come back, 5-6 shots to have anybody even touch him.
Yeah, exactly. So. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, but it was that round on Saturday. I was, I got in the car and started listening to the radio broadcast about when he was on maybe his 7th or 8th hole, and I got to listen to most of his back nine, but it was damn impressive. I mean, because Saturday there weren't a lot of low scores outside of him. I mean, realistic. I mean, that was the only 63 at Royal Liverpool ever shot. So it was pretty cool to watch. But just such a meaningless 63 when you think about a second place. You know what I mean?
I know. I mean, at least he did it on Saturday instead of Sunday, but
Yeah.
Some other guys, second place. I mean, Sepp Straka continues to make a move, try to get on the Ryder Cup team. Jason Day just literally getting it in the hole from everywhere.
I mean, the guy's short game is just off the freaking charts. It's off the charts.
You should have. I don't know how much you got to watch, but he was literally all over that golf, like holes, like playing from other holes. He's holing out from 30 yards on a par 3. Like it was just absurd where he was putting himself.
I don't even want to try to say the analogy that the Scottish and Australian people were saying on the radio broadcast. But at one point, the guy that was following him on Saturday was just like, he was like, you can put him somewhere and throw the keys away or something. He can get up and down from there or something. It was something crazy. And I was like, I don't even know what that means, but it sounds like he's getting up and down from everywhere. So, but it was clinic. I mean, from what I did watch, and I watched some of the highlights, I mean, if the guy couldn't chip and putt, it would be, I don't even know if he would have made the cut, to be completely honest with you. So, because
it was crazy.
He didn't really strike the ball particularly well. I don't know the stats. I don't have the stats in front of me, like shots gained or approach or whatever. But just from the amount of like chipping and like putting he was doing off the green, something tells me he wasn't hitting the ball like overly well. So,
no, it was wild. And then also Tom Kim finished tied for second, shot 67 on Sunday, allegedly hurt. I mean, definitely not injured.
Allegedly.
So.
And I thought that was a really cool picture of him on 17. I did get to catch the back nine on Sunday. I'd made it down here by then, but him with his hat backwards and hitting into 17, I was like, this guy. And then he had said something like after like he hit it, and he was like, I think he was like, that'll do, like, and just turned his hat back around and just kept I will say real
Gosh,
quick. I do want to plug this because I had heard so much about that whole going into the tournament, 17. You know how they redid it, and this guy's like, I can't wait. All the players are going to hate it, and that makes me love it even more. Boring. It was boring. Like, I'm sorry, but like there was so much that like it was kind of a bigger green. It wasn't like the green from LACC, right? When they were hitting those 80-yard shots, those dudes were trying to land it in like a 12-foot area, 15-foot area. This green was big, and they're hitting 130-yard shots, and it just didn't do it for me. And I'm like, first off, they should get their money back for that renovation of that hole because I didn't like it. I wasn't a particular fan of it. So just a little plug.
I don't know.
That was my hot take.
I kind of liked it. I just don't think it didn't give us the drama from the people we wanted it from, right? Because like Tommy Fleetwood flew the green and had to make a trip, like made a triple. It was horrible.
Yeah, well, and I know the
So like
Fitzpatrick brothers made triples on that hole, this week.
yeah. The only thing is, if you hit the green, you were safe, right? But if you were anywhere else, it seemed like you had an opportunity to make a big number, which I don't know if that's the best thing or not. But I mean, it was fun. It was cool seeing the hole from behind the tee box and just
No, yeah,
looking
that
out.
was
And it's
really
like
cool. The scenery
there's just
was
no.
awesome.
It's just the horizon, and I mean, it was a sweet, very picturesque thing. But yeah, I mean, it could have been dramatic if somebody would have gotten himself in
I
some
guess
trouble.
so.
But
I guess so. Maybe we just didn't get what they were expecting to get. And then
I
being
think if it
soft,
was,
if being
yeah,
soft, it probably didn't help. How many times are you going to get someone to kind of run off one of the runoff areas? Like, not going to happen when you're getting that much rain. So maybe I'm being too hard on it, but I thought it was kind of boring, especially when the guy that designed the hole was kind of like, oh, I hope, the players are going to hate it, which makes me like it even more. And I'm like, well, if you say that, it better be like the coolest hole in the world. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
definitely didn't get that. So,
I just think, yeah, it was the condition. Like Brian Harman, he spun his shot back. Like he took it to the back of the green and spun it back towards the hole, which you normally, I think ideally it would be firm and that thing would be
like
launching into the
bounce,
shin.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
So, all right, well, it's time. T6, Rory McIlroy.
Just another,
Just
just
never,
disappointing. I'm tired
he
of sticking up
never,
for him.
don't you do that. I'll never be tired. He just like, I mean, even Sunday, birdies 3 of the first 5, and you're like, okay, let's see what happens here. And it's like it either starts hot and then he stalls out, or he starts out cold and then like he kind of saves it on the back end. It doesn't seem like there's like a full Rory's going to come out and shoot 63 like Rahm did Saturday that's ever really out there.
Yeah, and God, his starts on Saturday and Sunday, you're like, oh my gosh, here we go. Like this is going to be the time that, and it just toyed with us, just absolutely toyed with us. And every time you make the turn, like especially on Saturday and Sunday, it just kind of just fell off a cliff. He stopped making putts, or he stopped hitting. Like Saturday, he really wasn't making putts. He was kind of just hitting everything kind of close. And then it was like
Oh God.
the iron started kind of getting a little loose on him, and he was had longer putts, and he wasn't already particularly putting well. And then Sunday, just he started off good again, but you could just see him like he knew it was like at some point he's going to stop making putts or stop hitting stuff close, and he knew it was never going to happen. So, and 18 was just sad watching him finish. Just that putt just stops about 2 inches left of the hole, and he's just like looks up to the sky. You're like, guy just can't buy. He couldn't. All that money he's made, he couldn't buy a major right now if he wanted to. Couldn't buy a putt, to be honest with you. So,
yeah. So just to give you the stats on this, he's had 30 top tens in majors, including the 4 wins, obviously. Hasn't won one now in 9 years. He's had 20 top tens since then, since his last win in 2014. And he's top 10 7 of the last 8. The only one was the miscut at the Masters.
wow.
Like, he just is like continually putting himself there and just can't get over the finish line.
I'm starting to worry it's not going to happen.
Me too.
Like, I know that sounds crazy because he's still, what is he, 33, 34? It sounds crazy. I just think it's so far in his head at this point that I don't know if there's any coming back from the stuff that he's gone through the last handful of majors. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'm done sticking up for him. I'm done. No more.
All
No
right.
more.
You can be done. I'll keep it going.
Never again.
Ugh.
Let's see.
All right.
Matthew Jordan.
Matthew
Cool.
Jordan.
That was a cool story. I kind of like Michael Blockish, right? Like, kind of an unknown name. But I was cool that he hit the first tee shot. I really thought that. I was like, why are they making a big deal of this? I didn't know he was a member at the time when I saw the video. So
Yeah, so he's a member of Royal Liverpool. There's lots of cool videos of him, like as a young kid playing, going around. He finishes tied for 10th, so he gets into the Open next year. And to your point, he hit the opening tee shot and made the first birdie in the tournament.
he did.
So,
Yep. Yeah, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, really cool story. Max.
So he was first top 10 in a major.
Are we going to move on? I mean, Matthew Jordan, but Max, he struggled on Saturday too, and he kind of came back.
Yeah.
And also, I really hope this is his like springboard to be like, okay, I know I can play well in majors now, because he really hasn't. He missed the member at LACC, misses the cut. That kind of felt like his major, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that top 10. I hope this is the springboard that kind of gets him over the hump.
Yeah, and then your boy Victor, T13, kind of backtracked on Sunday after, getting in the grouping with Rom for, the final round. But yeah, I mean, we'll talk about him a little more later, but I think he's watch out next year.
Same for Rory, right? There's them two. Maybe they get both in the same year.
Maybe. Speaking of other guys that don't win, Xander Schauffele, T17, just
useless.
Top 20 in a major, but just not really competitive. Yeah, and then tie for 23rd, Ricky, our king, Jordan Spieth, and Scotty Scheffler finally came back down to earth.
Yeah, I told you he wasn't going to win. I told you that. That was my pick.
You called it.
I knew from the very beginning. I was like, he's not winning. So,
yeah, and then we've got. I just wanted to mention a couple more guys. Cantlay never is going to win a major. I think I'm confident in saying that at this point. Tied for 33rd. With I wanted to shout out Wyndham Clark, because look, when you win a major and you're someone of his caliber, for him to keep backing it up with these finishes in elevated events and majors, I mean, it's pretty impressive. So,
yeah. But again, I'm very confident about the Cantlay. It's like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Good. Brooks Koepka, just like never really in it. Had like a moment where I thought he was, and then just absolutely vacated the premises.
He's saving it
for 64.
He's saving it. Yeah, he's saving it for the Ryder Cup at this point. Hopefully.
Yeah. That or the Live Championship, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know where that's at this year.
Probably Doral again. I don't know. Disappointing miscuts. Morikawa felt like this could be a good spot for him, but not to be.
No.
Dustin Johnson shot like an 81 in the second round. Just see ya. Pulled the eject or the ripcord. And JT with that first round, 82.
If you thought LACC was the worst it could get, boy, were we wrong.
Gosh, I mean, yeah, 39-43 for JT. I think he took, a 9 on 18? Something like that?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we gotta find bottom at some point. Where is rock bottom? We don't know yet, but I feel like this week has got to be pretty close to rock bottom for him at this point. So
he bounced back, shot 71 in round 2, which I thought was pretty impressive after an 82.
Yes, yeah, it is.
So
I'm surprised he even wanted to show his face.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's one thing about JT that I really respect, is the dude's a grinder, and he's just not going to quit on a round or a tournament like that. So
yeah, exactly.
Massive respect for that.
Exactly.
Hopefully he gets it figured out coming down the stretch.
Speaking
of 82s.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Now we're kicking off who needed the back 9-6 back here. JT got saved. He got saved because So last week we were on Jazz Watch
The
at the
Jazz hands.
Barbasol. We saw Jazz Hands. We saw it live in person, and he got saved by Daniel Chopra.
Yeah.
Well, this time there's no Daniel Chopra in the field to save him this time.
JT wanted
Jazz,
to, though.
JT tried. Jazz shot 81 in the first round, but then he backed it up with an 83 in the second round, and didn't make a birdie over those 2 rounds. Only 19 pars in 36 holes.
That's so bad.
That's not good. That's not good.
That's so bad.
So his
Hold
second
on.
round,
Real quick. So I said this, and this needs to be repeated. I want to know how this guy qualified for the Barbasol and qualified for the Open Championship, because that is the route I want to take to try to play in these tournaments.
we'll have to do some research on that, because there's got to be a reason. It's probably some finish somewhere. I don't know.
I know. I'm going to do the research, because I'm overly concerned about the future of golf if this guy can get into major championships.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I legitimately thought he was one of the live guys before I saw him at the Barbasol.
I kind of thought that originally too, but I did do that research. He was not on live, so
Okay.
there is that.
Well, he didn't get it at the Barbasol, but for the Open Championship,
he's got to get it.
Jazz needed the back 9 6-pack.
You can't dodge that. You cannot dodge that bullet 2 weeks in a row and think you're going to get away with it. It's just not going to happen.
I mean, I was shocked when I saw he didn't make a birdie in 2 rounds. For a pro to not make a single birdie.
I mean, especially with those par fives. They talked about how, other than 18, obviously, but they talked about how easy those par fives were playing. At least 5. I think 5 was the easiest hole in the course, and then I want to say it was 15 was the second easiest hole. It was another par 5. You gotta run into a birdie at some point on one of those, right? You're playing 8 par 5s and I think they played 6. You played 6 par 5s and you can't run into a birdie on one of those. Hit a good drive and hit a good 3-wood and maybe putt it up to 6-7 feet and make a birdie. He failed to do that 6 times. That's rough as a professional golfer. So
yeah, it's not good.
It's not.
You should have grabbed a couple pints at the turn. That's what you needed to do.
Yeah, the Grim Reaper comes for all of us. This is his week. You can only cheat death for so long.
All right, before we move on, it's time for a quick Ryder Cup check-in. We're going to do this. Have you looked at the list?
I have not, actually.
All right, then we're going to do this. No, don't. We're going to do this Family Feud style.
Okay.
You're going to give me, all right, do you want to try to get the full 12 or just the top 6?
Yeah, I'm going to go, let's go 6. That's doable.
Okay, you get 3 strikes. You got to name the top 6 here.
Okay. I do know that Brooks is in the top 6 right now.
Correct.
I believe that Brian Harman is currently in the top 6 right now.
He is in the top 6.
Max Homa. Oh, really? He's out of the top 6. I think he's pretty safely on the team, just the full disclosure.
He's number 7.
Okay, but I was going to say he must have recently dropped out within the last couple of weeks. Okay, so I'm going to give, let's see, Ricky Fowler. Really? He's got to be 8. He's got to be top.
He's number 12.
Is he really? Okay, I thought that when that 12. Rocket might have. Damn, I'm down. I've got 3 more to go. Right.
You've only got
I think I seriously just named all the hard ones. I think I seriously named all the hard ones, and I'm drawing blanks on the easy ones right now.
Yeah, you've got some absolute layups here. Especially one is a complete slam dunk that I can't believe you have not said yet.
My brain's not functioning right now. It's just not functioning.
This guy literally has double the amount of points of the second place.
Oh, well, Scheffler. I knew that. I thought you were talking about somebody else. The other layup. Scheffler.
Yep.
Man, is Wyndham Clark after his U.S. Open? Is he in the top? Okay, I thought
He's
so.
number two.
Is he really? Wow. Okay, but he's kind of been on a heater. I mean, he's got the win, and
Yeah, he
then
won an elevated event and a U.S.
yep,
Open. So,
yep, yeah, exactly.
all right, you've got two guys left.
One's a layup. I feel like.
I mean, at this point, I think you're in some kind of interchangeable territory. These guys are a team though in the event.
Hmm.
Good buddies that never win.
Oh, JT.
No,
What? Hold on.
you're
No,
done.
God dang it. Hold on. Oh, Finau? No, it's not Finau.
No,
Who? Go ahead, give them to me.
Xander and Cantlay.
How are they in the top six?
Yeah, 5 and
See, I
6.
was thinking too deep after the Scheffler layup. I was just like, how did
Yeah,
Finau top 10 his way into the top, the top six or whatever? But
no,
um,
Finau.
he's
Finau's not
way
even in the
down
top
there.
15.
Yeah, no, he's not been playing well this year. So
All right, so I'm gonna run through them just real quick. Obviously, number 7 was Homa, 8 Cam Young, 9 Jordan Spieth, 10 Keegan Bradley, 11 Colin Morikawa, 12 Ricky Fowler, 13 Sam Burns, 14 Justin Thomas, 15 Denny McCarthy.
Denny's pretty good though. I mean, that's not. I
Yeah,
was surprised at first when you said that, but I'm not really that surprised anymore. Yeah, that's man.
I mean,
I mean, I think Ricky's on, but with that setup of that course, I kind of like Brian Harman being in the top six now. I mean, he just kind of hits it straight, that's kind of the way that course sets up. So I'm very happy that I think he could do pretty well at that course. I'm glad he's in the top six now because that's not a name that I think they would go for a captain's pick, regardless of how well he's playing.
yeah. I mean, we'll have to see how it shakes out with the playoffs and stuff, but I would
Yeah,
imagine that's kind of those guys that won the majors. I feel like are probably going to be pretty safe. So
you
we'll
would
see.
you would think. Yeah, you would think for sure, for sure.
All right. Well, on from that, one quick mention of the Barracuda, which is
The
happening out in
Stableford,
what Truckee, California, or something. I
Truckee,
don't remember. It's
Truckee,
the
California.
Reno area. Akshay Bhatia won, beat Patrick Rogers in a playoff, and
He
get
played
this
pretty
first
good.
time.
Didn't he play pretty good at the Barbasol too? I think so. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was.
yep.
We saw him hit a few shots. He was behind Kevin and Jay, so yeah, it was cool. It's the first time that two lefties have won in the same day on tour.
That's insane. But I guess there's not a
Yeah,
lot. I mean, think about it. Before, let's say 10 years ago, what did you have? Like, let's say 20 years ago, right? You had like Mike Weir and Phil Mickelson. Like there really wasn't a
yeah.
lot of guys that could go out and win tournaments. But that's pretty cool. I did see that. It's odd, but yeah, it's pretty cool. So
Yeah, but I mean, you had Bubba too, but it's not like those three guys would ever be playing like in opposite field holes,
yeah,
really. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Um,
uh, Kevin and Jay got a
top
top
20.
20.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We're flirting with the top 10 for a while, but just
He was.
couldn't get a couple birdies
What was
coming
he like?
home.
3 points out of the top. 3 points out of a top 20 or top 10.
Yeah, I
I
think so.
think. Yeah. So
And I think they're back in the field this week at the 3M. So
we need a
keep
couple
riding it,
big we
baby.
need a couple big weeks from Kevin to so he doesn't go back to Corn Ferry Tour Finals. I think that's kind of where he sits now. He'll actually have to go back and earn his card in the Corn Ferry Tour Finals. I wouldn't be like I don't want it to happen to him, but like it would bring him to Columbus, so maybe another road trip.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't want
Go
it to
check out the
happen to
Scarlet
him.
course.
I don't want it to happen to him, but
No, me
we'll
either.
see.
But anyway, we'll that'll give us something to root for and follow at the 3M this week because we're now in the dead zone of the season.
Yeah,
Majors are
yeah,
past us. Ryder Cup's not till September.
it doesn't get good
Football's
probably till
coming.
like FedEx Cup Finals at East Lake. That's about the last big tournament. So
Even that for me is kind of boring. I feel like the first or second event's more fun because it's like the actual top guys, and you got the guys trying to get in the bubble and all that. And that's, to me, that's more interesting than East Lake is at this
Yeah.
point.
Yep. Yeah. Well, let's
All
let's
right.
let's move on to the most important part of the show, right? And I am going first this week.
Oh, you hold on a second. We're skipping something.
Oh.
I want to
Oh
talk
yeah, we are.
2023
Sorry, my
majors.
bad. My bad.
That's all right. When Rahm and Brooks won the first two of the year, I was like, holy shit, we're setting up for like a massive, massive
Yeah,
major
big
season.
year. Yep.
And then you had Ricky and Rory really, really in it at the U.S. Open. And it was like, oh my God, we're about to have, Rahm, Brooks, Ricky's going to get his first, or Rory's going to get his fifth. And Wyndham Clark and Harman close it out for us.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm not, because they're Americans. I'm not upset about it, right? Like I think Wyndham's kind of, you know, he's climbing that mountain to be a really, really, really good player for a decent amount of time. So I'm not like super upset about it, but I think from an outsider perspective, of someone that doesn't know the game as much, yeah, those last two are probably less than entertaining. So,
Yeah.
um,
What was which of the four majors this year was your favorite?
had to be the PGA.
I know, right?
It had to, like, just the venue and the storylines, and obviously, Blocky was part of that, right? Had to drop him again. He's hanging out with DJ
Yeah.
Khaled down in Miami. What a turn of events for that guy. But Brooks winning, not disappointed about that. Kind of went Terminator on everybody again, like we kind of knew he could, and what he's done in the past. Again, I go back to the venue. I thought it was. I wasn't thrilled with LACC. I'm not a big Royal Liverpool fan. It's in course out of bounds. You kind of lose me at. So, but no, I thought, yeah, I think it was the PGA for sure.
Yeah, that one to me sticks out as the most memorable. I wish the Masters didn't get so affected by the weather. I think it would have been a different story, especially with Rahm winning. Like him getting his second major was like such a big moment. I always feel like those guys that you expect, to be the best in the world, when they get that second one, that's the one that kind of validates it. Because you never want those guys to get stuck on one major. Then it just feels like, I don't know, leaving something out there, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. It was a good major season. Just I feel like for sure the PGA was the most
Which is
memorable.
crazy. Usually, I think if you would ask anybody, they'd probably tell you that that's the least entertaining. So they
Yeah.
did something right.
All right. So let's start with who, if anybody, impressed you this year in the majors, like outside of the guys that won.
Man,
Because I can go first. I've got
yeah,
one,
go ahead. Go ahead.
and this is why I said watch out for next year. Victor Hovland. He
Yeah,
leveled it up in the majors this year. He was T7 at the Masters, T2 at the PGA, had a real chance to win. 19th at the U.S. Open and T13 at the Open, and like I
pretty
said, kind of
good.
faded on Sunday. So
Pretty good.
I
Yeah.
I, I think he's going to be around in the conversation for a lot of these going forward.
I think it's going to sound weird, but with how he had the whole Netflix thing. I think the way that Brooks played, he won one, and I don't know and he almost won the Masters, and then I don't think he missed the. Did he miss the cut at U.S. Open? I don't think it. No, he made the cut. I mean, he
I
barely
think
made the
so.
cut here, but I think him coming off an injury and kind of a less than stellar reputation, I think his showing this year was a lot more than I would have expected for sure. I definitely didn't think he would win one, much less play the way he did in the other three. So
Yeah. No, I get that. That's for sure a good call. Disappointments. I've got several. If you want me to go again.
I've got one right off the top. JT. I mean,
All right. Yeah, dude. 3 missed cuts, and his best finish was a T65 at the PGA. Just
and the PGA is the one that he usually plays the best at, right? He's got two of them.
yep.
Um, that seems like the layup. If going down the list a little further for a disappointment, that because I think you could ask anybody, and I think nine out of 10 people would tell you probably JT. Um, I would probably go with like Xander or one of those guys, just because it's like what a disappointment. Just we keep been getting told that he's going to win one, and he's got the game to win anywhere, and then it just never happens. So
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that too because it's like you feel like those guys are like we talked about Cantlay and Xander. Like feel like they have enough talent to be a major champion, but it just also feels like
just doesn't feel
they're not
like it's
really
ever going to
threatening.
happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, so for me, I also included because I have to Jordan Spieth. I, he's had a disappointing season overall. I mean, him and Phil kind of climbed the leaderboard Sunday at the Masters. He finished T4 there, but then T29 at the PGA, missed the cut at the U.S. Open, and then just kind of a back and forth ping pong of a T23 this week at the Open. And he just feels farther and farther away from, that 2015 to 2017 guy. And I don't know if the way he plays, like at some of these venues, like he's just going to show up some weeks and not even have a chance at him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's a layup one too, right? Like, it's kind of waiting for his next one, and it's just kind of like Rory, right? It's like waiting for his next one, and just never feel like it's gonna. This year made you think it's never gonna happen again.
Yeah.
So,
And then I got one more just because even though he played out of his mind, but with how good Scotty played this year, to not get a major out of it feels tough.
it feels like highway robbery from somebody, probably more so his putting, but
Yeah, I mean he was tied for 10th at the Masters and that was the kind of the start of the putting downfall, and then still finished T2 at the PGA, third at the US Open, and then he wasn't in it this week at the Open, but T23. So I mean he was all around it and just did not cross the finish line.
It's funny. I remember thinking back on the Masters that we thought that his putting woes that began there. Oh, that's an outlier, right? It's like he just didn't have a good week. Like it is what it is, and then it's like it just turns into the story that keeps telling. It's a new chapter every week. That's like eventually, it's like, oh, maybe he can win a tournament with not putting well, and it's like he still hasn't done it. Since. And he's definitely not going to win a major. Proof is in the pudding with this major that, Brian Harman putted the lights out of Royal Liverpool and he won. So, it's you got to putt well in a major, and that's. I would say statistics would be on our side if we said back in April if he continues to putt like that he's not going to win a major, and we probably would have been almost guaranteed to be right.
Yeah, so I was just looking at Data Golf. They've got like this model that shows you based on the strokes gained, like what their expected wins are. Scotty's expected wins on the season are 3.44. He's got 2.
So
and
two
0.6. 0.6 of a major as well. So it was right there for him. He played well enough to,
probably get
to bag a major and have 4 or 5 wins at this point. So
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All right. Last thing on the majors. Most memorable moment from the majors this year.
I mean, I'm not going to go with the layup. I think the layup's very easy, and I've already mentioned them a couple of times tonight. That's the layup.
I know, it's fucking Blocky with his ace, dude.
That is the absolute layup of the century, but to make it fun, I won't go there. I think it's been a story that's been told. Did he win an ESPY for that, by the way, or did he not win an ESPY? He was nominated for Best Sports Moment. Okay.
No, he did not win.
Best one. I think Rahm just winning at Augusta. I mean, I thought that was, Spaniards they don't have a deep history other than now a couple guys, right, for golf. I got, Sergio and Rom and, um, it's cool that he was, it just, again, he was kind of one of those guys that you just didn't think was ever going to happen, right? Like, especially at Augusta. And he was winning all these other tournaments, and to finally kind of bag Augusta, that I thought that would probably be my second one. My second favorite moment behind Blocky's ace. And if you wanted a specific moment, I guess I thought the Matthew Jordan thing from this weekend was really, really cool. Like, thinking, I caddied in an event this week at our home course, and I was like, we need to get a tournament here that I can play in, not the senior city championship. And I was like, how cool would that? Like, that is incredibly cool to, like, on a course that you grew up playing or you play a lot, that you get to play a meaningful tournament and then do well in it, right? Because that's always the challenge, right? Just because you're playing on your home course doesn't mean you're going to play well. So I thought that was a really cool moment. The first tee shot, after I knew exactly what it meant, I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, there was some kind of absurd moments in majors. For example, one that comes to mind, Xander with the bunkers on at LACC when he couldn't get out.
I'm a man of principle. I could not name anything from the U.S. Open this year.
Yeah. I mean, Rom, like, at least 2 or 3 times, just attacking microphones and other inanimate objects throughout the majors. I mean, Victor.
It's a bad habit at this point, right? Hitting the microphones.
Victor Hovland got shit on by a bird this week at the Open.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty good.
Billy Horschel escorted a protester off the course on Friday, I believe.
By the way, hold on. Backtrack real quick. Victor Hovland getting pooped on by a bird. That's the best thing that's ever happened to his outfits and majors this year.
I will say the ones this week were probably the best of the bunch, honestly. Yeah. I mean, they were absurd at times, but they were pretty good. So to actually answer the question, though, I think the Brooks signaling to the caddy the 5 controversy to then close the loop on the bit and him give the 5 with the Wanamaker Trophy for his 5th major was that was a fun one for me. That really sticks out in my mind.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah.
So, all right, now you can go to Patio Beers.
All right, anything goes on the patio. Let's get this kicked off. We've got kids crying outside my door. So, that's actually a perfect lead into my question. This is going to get me in trouble. It might get you in trouble too, depending on when it happens. What is this? Because I'm on vacation. Vacations are fun, but they can teeter, especially at our adult age. They can teeter on stressful. What is the most stressful vacation moment that you can remember?
Oh God. I have 2, and they're from the same trip. So this was 2015. Susie and I were fortunate enough to be able to go over to Europe for like about 2 weeks. At the time, I was just trying to find the cheapest flights possible, so I used a website. I will not air them out, but got pretty good affordable flight. Everything's good, right? We got the tickets paid for months in advance, all that. We show up to the airport. For whatever reason, I can't get on the app on my phone, I cannot get our boarding passes downloaded or whatever. So we go to the gate or the check-in desk, and they're like, "Oh, it's all good. We got you here. Like, here's actual printed boarding passes." So I get a printed boarding pass, 2 of them. Long story short, we get through security, get on the plane. A couple attendants or whoever comes on the plane, and they're like, "Passengers Wilcox and Wilcox, are you on the plane?" And they take us off the plane. So those boarding passes weren't legit, I guess. Turns out the company never sent the purchase order of our tickets to the airline. And so they pull us off the plane. We're we're flying to Ireland, like we're going to Dublin. We're flying, this is, 5, 6 hour venture here. Like we got to go to Chicago to get to Dublin. Anyway, uh, we ended up like up all night on the phone with the company, just like going through like every, call center employee, every manager we could get on the phone and be like, you guys really screwed this whole thing up. Like we're supposed to be in Europe right now. So we're working with United, we're working with this stupid company, doing this whole thing. We're up to like 3 in the morning. We finally get tickets and get over there the next day. But we're like dead tired. We show up, it's like 5 in the morning, whatever. So that's that part of the trip. Part of this trip, we were hopping around city to city. We go to Rome. We're leaving for Rome to get on a flight to Madrid. And I'm someone that I like to get to the airport. I need that hour and a half, 2 hours before the gate, loading. This did not happen in Rome. We got a driver from our VRBO host, who was awesome, by the way, got us a driver to take us to the airport. We have no idea where we're at. We don't know how long it takes to get to the airport, but it's like an hour to our flight. And we're stuck in traffic. And I'm like asking the guy, like, bro, are we good? Like, what? Like, are we going to make it? And he's like, oh, yeah, no worries, no worries. I'm not even kidding you. We rolled up with like 20 minutes to go to get through security to run to the gate in the small Rome airport. Don't speak the language. We're just like trying to fly through, do all the stuff, get the passport stamp, do everything. Barely by the skin of our teeth. Like they're about to pull the jetway away. And we're just like sprinting up the steps to get on
like
this
a
plane.
Dumb and Dumber moment. Just run off the jetway.
For those two things that happened to me on the same trip,
that's
like
crazy.
you know me, you cannot imagine the mental and physical state that I was in during these times.
Oh God,
So yeah,
that's good. I like it. That's a good story.
oh,
I don't have anything like that, but mine was pretty recent. So mine was last year. We went down to Asheville, North Carolina. Well, let me rephrase that. We thought we were staying in Asheville, North Carolina. My mom had booked this cabin. She was like, "It's a cabin. It's up in the mountains." Like, okay, great. Yeah, Asheville's in the mountains, right? Like, can't be that far from Asheville. Well, we stayed about 50 minutes from Asheville, and we were literally when I say we were in the mountains. Our car was not built to go back into this log cabin. It barely made it up, and it barely made it back. Like the 4 times that we went down and back up it. It was just the roads getting up to our cabin and down to the main road was just, it was 25 minutes. Like when we left our cabin to get to the main road was 25 minutes down the mountain. It was just a nightmare. And then to top it all off, our last night there, we had fun. Like we went Asheville's. Yeah, you go down there, you drink at the breweries. Like it was we did have a good time. But like the whole trip was just built around the stress. And so we're sleeping. We decided the last night that we were going to sleep in the living room. Me and Danielle were going to sleep in the living room. Let the kids have like a bedroom, and so we're sleeping in the living room. And mind you, we're in the mountains. Like it's pitch dark. Okay, we're on the back patio, and I'm like, I'll be in like 10 minutes. But like there was a headlight, like a lamp light in the distance in the woods, and I'm like, I'm a little nervous, right? Like I'm a little nervous, but I did bring my gun with me because I'm like, I knew when I found out where we were staying, I'm like, I'm bringing a gun with me because where we're at, police won't get there for like hours. If something happens, police will not be there for hours. So I see this like lamp light, like it's a person. They're down in the woods, right? And I'm just like, this is sketchy. But I'm like, all right, I'm going to bed. So we're in the living room, and I don't know, like I probably 20 minutes passed, and we hear a bang, and I'm like, oh shit, it's that guy with the lamplight on his head. He's coming up here to start some shit. So like I go in, grab my gun, I'm like, put the clip in, I'm ready to go. Like I'm like, this is gonna be my first real action, right? And like we just keep hearing things bang down and drop on the ground and all this stuff, and and like I'm looking and and all of a sudden, like I see this big bear just like walk by our window, and I'm like, all right, it's fine. It's not the lamplight. That was just the topper. That was the topper of the trip. So, but that was my most stressful moment for sure.
Good God. Yeah, I can't even imagine. Can't imagine. All right, on to my question. This just came up this weekend, so I had to ask. It's more of a psychoanalysis of our behavior, and I'm prepared to find out that I'm actually a sociopath in this instance because Susie and I had a little debate, had a little grill out, so we had some corn on the cob. I need to know, how do you eat your corn on the cob? Are you the typewriter straight across and go, or is it like a vertical rotation all the way through?
No, I'm a psychopath. I just take big chunks out of it and turn. Like I'm not like it might be one over here and then turn it over here.
Oh my God.
I'm a psychopath.
You are a psychopath. That's not even an option in my world.
And like I've got chunks that are kind of here and there that like haven't been eaten yet. Like yeah, I'm a psychopath.
That's horrifying.
I'm a psychopath.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, no, for sure. I know I am. Like, that's why I try not to eat corn and cob in front of people I don't really know because I'm nervous about being judged.
Good God. All right. Well, I need normal people to answer this question then, because I don't know. Susie does it typewriter style. She goes one row all the way across, one row, you know what I mean, all the way through.
That makes sense.
I go like all the way around and then move to the next row.
Yeah, I've seen people do it that way. That's probably actually the most common way I've seen it done. Like
See, that's what I'm thinking too.
Like around, and then start the next one. Start the next. That's the most common way. That's also how squirrels do it. So maybe you're part squirrel.
Maybe.
Yeah, but I'm a psychopath. That was a terrible question to ask me. I know there's probably nobody that does it the way I do it. So maybe my kids, because they see me do it.
You cannot be teaching this to young children. That's horrible.
Well, if you see them if you see them in 15 years and they're just gnawing down big chunks, then you know. Then you'll know. So.
Oh my God. All right. Well, I know you're on vacation, so we're gonna get out of here.
We've got screaming kids out. We got screaming kids out here. It's bedtime. All hell's breaking loose. I had to lock. Thank God I locked the door.
You're battling through it, and I'm sure our listeners will hear it in the background too. Part of the experience, maybe.
We warned you. I'm on vacation. We've got 7 kids in this house, and 4 families. 3 of them have kids. It's a hodgepodge. So we're gonna get through it.
Are you sure this isn't your most stressful vacation moment?
We'll find out in like 4 days. But I'm golfing enough because I golf today and I'm golfing Wednesday and Friday that I think it might keep me a little more calm. So
all right. All right. A couple shout outs before we get out of here. One, if you're not already and you're still listening, follow us on Instagram. Justin's video on Farm Links just went up this weekend. It's awesome. We're gonna have more of those to come because our guy's playing some golf. So,
and I honestly surprised myself with that video. To be honest, I just didn't know I was capable of such art. I always tell people the art side of my brain doesn't work, but I told you I was cooking something up, and I felt really good about it, and it turned out really good. And I hope it, and I obviously for Purcell Farms purposes, I hope it leads people to take a golf trip there. So,
yeah. No, trust me, I didn't know you had it in you either. I was very, very happily surprised.
Oh, gosh.
And then last but not least, if we do post a video of this, we both have on the Back 9 6-pack hats. We got the white and the navy, $25. Best deal in golf right now. I can guarantee it.
Support the guys.
Hit us up for one of those.
Support us. We're heavily underpaid to do this job.
Yeah, no doubt. 16 episodes, all for free. I mean, come on.
I mean,
what more can we ask for?
like Michael Scott, we're gonna start paying to come to work now.
And hey, if you want a Patio Beers hat, still have
Yes,
those.
we do still have a
Those are
couple of
those are a
those.
little pricier, but
Yeah, but they're good. They're good.
no doubt. All right. Well, on that note, get back to it. Have fun out there. I'll see you next Monday.
Sounds good. See ya.
All right. Cheers.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Back 9 Six Pack. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Back 9 Six Pack for all your content needs. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.